when the sixth Schedule Council is upgraded to Article 244A of the Constitution of India. This measure will ensure solution to the issues presently considered unresolved.
Nengkre for budget section Assam Legislative Assembly along MLA DARSING RONGHANG Article 244A mate ili karbi akhayatum kar inai hemprek aphuthak Ase ANGTONG kachebi. Kedam tang pinang ananing kanpen setame ili karbi akhayatum ke Article 244A mate hemprek ke hang arji ding olo. Bonta labang soalam kapaklang dun arleng kijum hegajok. Non puan setame kichun cheder ang dengsi tokokla. Udhot peneng ningkan surhinira ingkorap ho aningkan. Indeng krep ho budget section Assam Legislative Assembly along MLA DARSING RONGHANG Article 244A alam kapang daktun.
And the August House. Sir, it is a great honor to speak on a historic occasion like this when, for the first time, the Assam State Assembly is holding its session in a sixth schedule area. I myself come from the sixth schedule area of Karbi Anglong, and I am proud to say that the Karbi Anglong have had the experience of the great journey of the sixth schedule council. From the modest beginning with simple tasks of preserving and promoting tribal interests to the present complex nation-building tasks involving all development departments of the state. Sir, we all know that at the dawn of the independence, we all know that at the dawn of our independence, the Constituent Assembly was constituted to draft our present constitution. It had a subcommittee called the Northeast Frontier Assam Tribal and Excluded Areas Subcommittee, headed by the first Chief Minister of Assam, led Gopinath Bordoloi. That is why it was also called Bordoloi Committee. Its members included luminaries from the Northeast like Reverend J.J.M. Nicholas Roy, Khasi, Rupnath Brahmo Bodo, and Eliba Imti Naga, Khor Singh Terang and Samson Singh Ingti were also co-opted members of the committee. This committee had come to meet the Kar people at Lamding on the 18th May 1947. To ask them what the Karbi wanted. Our leaders, particularly Samson Singh Ingti, Chotro Singh Teron, and Chandro Singh Teron Langkung Habe, interacted with them and plead for a separate administrative district with a tribal council for the Karbis so that they may self-determine their affairs and that only tribal people should be allowed to contest the council's election. The other demands were: A. Tribal land should be protected by law and that it should be inalienable. B. To give importance to education of the tribal people. And C. All customs and traditions of the tribal peoples should be protected by law. That was the beginning of the sixth schedule concept in Karbi Anglong, and the Bordoloi Committee had drafted the sixth schedule with similar provisions for all the hill tribal people. Sixth schedule was designed to be our safety net while being a part of the great nation of India. That this provision will ensure the safety and security of the tribal people as far as their land, forest, language, culture, and traditional are concerned. These are the core subjects over which the six scheduled tribal councils have full power, and the laws passed by the State Assembly and the Parliament on this subject cannot supersede the laws passed by the Tribal Council. But, sir, during the first 2 decades of the Sixth Schedule regime, that is the 1950s and 1960s, it was discovered that the tribal people needed to develop a part, and in equal pace with the rest of the people of the state and the country. The Sixth Schedule Council could not deliver that because it had limited financial resource and could not be in sync with the line departments, which are the organs for development purpose and are controlled by the state government. The leaders of the Plains district, which were at the helms of the government, had their own priority, and the hills tribals peoples felt neglected since six schedules could not resolve development issues without the administrative powers of the state. They failed. Separation was the only solution, and so to ensure self-determination of the hill tribal people on matters of development. Meghalaya and Mizoram were carved out from Assam. In 1969, the parliament also offered us the option to separate from Assam along with Meghalaya and Mizoram, but that would have made separations of the not only the entire hills area but also the Barak Valley. The state leadership felt that it was necessary to prevent further disintegrations of the state. So a meeting was held with the hill leaders of the hills leaders on 3rd February 1970 at Haflong, where it was decided that the Sixth Schedule Council would also look after all the development department in their respective areas. And the necessary fund would be provided by the state government. That was the part of the concept of the transfer department in Sixth Schedule areas, councils. Sir, the territorial integrity Assam with the Barak Valley was served on the Garbi, Dimasa, and leaders were the heroes. Sir, the concept of the transferred department in the Sixth Schedule Council is also not an easy option. This system demands a complex coordination strategy in program implementation, delivery of the service, and release of the necessary fund. It required a lot of patience and goodwill on the part of the state leadership, which our Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma is demonstrating. With other chief ministers, it may not be the same. That is why the hill area have been facing political unrest during the past 30 years. Under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister and after signing of several accords, peace had returned in the hills. So it is now time to plug the lacune in the working of the Sixth Schedule so that not scope in is open for further unrest in the hills. Sir, the first issue is to uphold the legislative competence of the Sixth Schedule Council. In the past, when the hill people lack education, it might have been necessary for the state government to monitor the legislative process of the council. But today, the hill peoples are no less educated than the peoples of the plains areas. The subject reserved in the 6th schedule for the legislative functions of the Autonomous Council are synchronized, and the state government must respect the legislative competence of the council on those subjects. But the legislative bills continue to be lost in the labyrinths corridors of the Secretariat, unduly delaying the progress of the governor in the legislative process of the council. Important legislative bills are delayed for a year together in the process. I urge the present chief ministers to resolve the issue permanently by allowing the governor to exercise his discretion without having to consult with the government. It will require the amendment of the para 20BA of the 6th schedule of the Constitution, which we have been pursuing.
Thank you. You can lay down. It is written, then you can lay down. We will include your speech, please.
The second important issue is the uncertainty
Please
related with the manners and equitums of the funding. The third important issue is the upholding of the rights of the indigenous peoples in the relation to the land and the economic opportunities. The hills area of facing acute threats of negative demography change against the indigenous people as our border is perennially open. Sir, as in the past, we are still committed to the preservation of the territorial integrity of Assam, which will permanently happen if and when the 6th Schedule Council is upgraded to Article 244A of the Constitution of India. This measure will ensure solution to the issues presently considered unresolvable under the 6th Schedule without hampering the territorial integrity of the state, namely the legislative competence of the council without state interference, equitable allocations of funds between the state and the council areas apart with other tribal areas of the northeast, and the preservation of the indigenous rights.
Thank you. Honorable member, you lay down your speech. Will include your inter-speech. Next member, Honorable Member Nandita Garusa.
People, which was
Please conclude.
adopted on 37th. Thank you, sir.
You can lay down or entire your speech will include